Summertime and the 4th of July, made for each other like the hot dog and the bun. A celebration of the freedom to chill on the anniversary of the document declaring U.S. independence. Chill is the operative word in this corner of the country, even though the land has been tortured and twisted by internal planetary heat that continues to drive creation forward. The view from high over Northern California and Southern Oregon reveals an area pockmarked by volcanoes and cloaked by ancient flows of lava, like sores on a sick patient. At ground level, however, the views are so beautiful that they were enshrined long ago in the nation's first national parks, national monuments, and national forests. Places that protect some of the most important natural and human history of a country celebrating its 247th year. The parks and monuments I visited in the last few weeks are clustered at the southern end of the Cascade Mountains, a range liberally dotted with volcanoes that extends from Northern California into British Columbia, Canada. The Cascades, though, are really a sub-range of a much longer mountain chain that stretches along the Pacific coast from the tip of South America north to Alaska. Its volcanoes form the eastern edge of the Pacific Ring of Fire, which also runs along the Pacific's northern and western edges to surround 3/4 of the world's biggest ocean. 2/3 of the world's volcanoes and 90% of all earthquakes occur along this ring. This video includes 2 of the 3 national parks focused on Cascades volcanoes, Lassen Volcanic and Crater Lake, plus Lava Beds National Monument and Mount Shasta, which is also within Shasta-Trinity National Forest. There is also a 3rd national park in the Cascades, Mount Rainier in Washington, which I last visited in 2021. Lassen and Crater Lake don't attract overbearing crowds like Yosemite, which had 3.6 million visitors in 2022. They are farther from California's big population centers, and the winter snow hangs around longer. Lassen had fewer than 500,000 visitors last year, and the road to the trailhead of the most popular trail in the park, the one to the top of the volcano, may not reopen to cars this year until after July 4th. Crater Lake had 527,000 visitors last year, but only 5 miles of the 33-mile road around the crater rim was open to vehicles when this video was posted. Even in low snow years, though, you're likely to find spots of white in June. This is Emily in 2014 at Lake Helen, just before we climbed Mount Lassen, which is behind her, and some views from along the trail. Small crowds and lingering snow don't necessarily make the parks less attractive to visit, though. Except for climbers, Mount Shasta is seen and enjoyed by most people from their cars as they drive between California and Oregon. Depending on the weather and cloud cover, it's prominent enough to be seen from 2 hours' drive away in either direction. Shasta's clouds can make for a nifty time-lapse. This one is a half hour of video condensed into 30 seconds. An isolated peak as tall as Shasta, more than 14,000 feet, shapes its own weather. In some ways, you can think of lava beds as the big island of Hawaii without the beach. The same type of shield volcanoes that, instead of sharply pointed peaks, produce widely spreading lava flows that solidify into jumbled rocky plains. Here and there, a cinder cone pokes above the surface. As much as landscape, lava beds preserve one of the last big battles between indigenous American tribes, the Modoc of Northern California in this case, and the U.S. Army in the 19th century, which was engaged in removing the natives to allow white settlement. A Modoc chieftain, known as Captain Jack, and a small band of fighters and their families held out for 6 months against the Army in this maze of lava-shielded trails and caves before finally capitulating. Crater Lake is the remnant of a geological cataclysm, the place where a Shasta-sized volcano exploded with such violence that the upper half of the volcano was blown away and collapsed. Today, filled with rainwater and snowmelt, the rim of decimated Mount Mazama looks like this. What is not readily apparent from the peacefulness of these places is that the geological forces that created them still exist. The Pacific Ocean floor continues to slip in fits and starts, earthquake by earthquake, beneath the landmass of North America. When the sub-ocean rock gets deep enough, it melts under the heat of the Earth's interior and rises as giant blobs of molten magma and bubbles of gas until it forces its way to the surface again in a new eruption. It happened just 40 years ago at Mount St. Helens, farther north in the Cascades. The north side of the mountain exploded, rerouting a river, spreading tree trunks from an entire forest across the surface of one lake, and creating an entirely new lake. Cascade landscapes are merely awaiting their next refurbishment.